Good morning, my friends. It's so nice to be with you again for another beautiful Sabbath morning where we're going to look at a story that we would have heard by another name. I give it this name. Please read those words for me, everyone. Again, one more time. Great. Three words. The forgiving Father. You know what is a father? You know who is a father? And you know what it is to forgive when somebody do you something you don't like. Instead of getting back at them and doing this and bad talking them, you just go to God and say, God, help me to forgive this person so I can still treat them nice. That is what forgiving is all about. So once upon a time, there was this family, and this young man grew up with his father, his mother, and his other brother. But he always knew that his father had some money put aside to give him when he reached 18. And when he reached 18 years of age, he went to his father and said, Daddy, I don't like what's going on in this home here. I want to leave. Give me all the money that you had for me. I am going to live another life and leave you all. Well, you could imagine how that father felt. You have a child growing up and everybody playing games, going to school, the father going to work, come back, saying good evening, and everybody discussing. And just so when you reach 18, you feel a big man now. You just want to leave and go and live your own life. No more church services, no more steady job. But he stuck with it. And the father said, all right, son, if that is what you want, I will give you what is due to you. I'm feeling hurt that you have to run away and leave all what I have here for you and your brother. But if that is so, I'm going to give you it. So the next morning, when the father went into the garden, the son decided to leave home, and he went with all that money, expecting to live life, go partying anytime he wants, go and sleep anytime he wants, drink anything he wants, go wherever he wants, give friends some money, just so because he had plenty money, not thinking that about the future. Now, young children, even though you are 6, 7, 8, 9, or even if you are listening and you are 18 or 19 or 20 or 13, you must think about your future, what you will do, what actions you do now will impact on nicely in the future or very badly. So look at this young man, look at him, he's sharing all his money. But guess what happened after a while? The money must done, and it did. He did studying. Look at how he is looking, like a loner. Eh? No friends, nothing, because all his money done. One set of clothes on him, and he just walking out thinking, what will I do? No money. All the people he's spending money on, he can't go back and say, Peter, John, Miss Mary, lend me $4,000, please, or lend me $1,000, please, because all my money done, and where I am here now, I'm far away from my father and my brother. I need some money to stay here. Nobody gave him a cent. But so he ended up now by a pig farm, a pig farm, and he begged the man who owned the pig farm, "Can you give me a job, please?" The man said, "Listen, the money I pay, I don't have any more money ready to pay. So whatever I get, whenever I get it, is that you will get." He said, "Yes, anything you have, I will take." And so he started working in this pig farm, providing food for the pigs every morning and evening and lunchtime and making sure they get the meals on time and so on. So he worked and worked and worked and worked. And whatever little money he got, he realized that money was not enough even for him to survive. But look at that. After a long while now, you realize that the money just finished. And guess what? He had now to decide, what am I going to do? No money, no friends. What am I going to do? this pig farm thing not working. You know what? I am going to go back straight to that father who I took all the money from and tell him, listen, don't take me back as no son. Just let me be a servant. And look at him now coming back home, on his way home. But guess what? The father was looking out there every single day for him. And when the father saw him, you see that big embrace? The father didn't wait. The father went and hugged him up one time and said, oh, son, thanks for coming back. I was waiting for you so long. I knew it was a wrong decision you made, but I have to respect your decision. But now you are back. We are going to enjoy ourselves all the time now. I'm going to tell your brother and everybody else home, let us go and prepare the best meal. What do you want? Dumpling, cabbage, beetroot, you want a nice sauce, you want pigeon peas, whatever you want. If you want goat roti and all, you're getting that. And so when the father tells the son to go and prepare that, that other son say, me preparing for he? All the time I here with you, you have no party for me. Now this son went away, spent out all the money and come back. You want to have a big party for him? And the son sat a sulk and was not involved in the party. But the party still went on. And the son and other neighbors came and look, you see how everybody enjoying the return of the son. And the father and the son having a nice talk. But where was his other brother? Sulking in the back of the house. He was nowhere in front. And all he's thinking about is himself. The father not having a party for him. All the time he getting food from the father, all these days the other brother not there. No, he's not thinking about that. And I want you children to think about that. When you have your mother and father taking good care of you, not for one moment should you think that is in vain and they're just doing it just so. It takes plenty for parents to take care of children. But he was there sulking, and the father and everybody else was enjoying themselves. You see what happened? Right. You see the kind of hugs here? Now you see this hug with this father and mother, this father and son? Right, you? But do you know, this is why I renamed the story The Forgiven Father. So I'm sure by now you know the original name of this story. And what is it? I want to hear somebody come up with a name. All right, I'm giving you time. All right, the second word begins with P. And it has 3 syllables. So it is the something, and the last word is son. Yes, you have it correct. We normally call that story the prodigal son. But what a forgiving father we have. And you see that other son who did not come to the party to enjoy the return of his brother. We have to learn a lesson from that. We have to learn to forgive. Just how the father forgave the son. If you have a brother or a sister or a cousin, somebody with you who do something obscene, we have to ask God for all the energy needed to forgive. So you not only have to be a forgiving son or forgiving daughter if you are listening, you must be a forgiving biblical student even though you are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. God wants you to live with your family, live with your friends in school. You must be able to forgive and plan your life even at 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, so that when you get bigger, you will not make that grotesque decision to want to give up on church life when you get big, give up on your father, give up on your mother, or even if big people is watching, some big people will give up on their wife when they after 10 years of marriage without forgiveness. Some wives will just give up on their husband after 15 years of marriage. So this story is really for everybody. So for the next week and the next weeks ahead, let us all decide to be as forgiving to everyone that does us anything bad. Have a beautiful week.
Hi everyone, it's Aunt Fernita. Today's story is called Nehemiah, God's Builder. The memory verse is from Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 8. It says, "The gracious hand of my God was upon me." Today's message is God gives me the grace and power to do His will. How come the pastor is always asking for money? Jessica wanted to know. Because our church family has outgrown its old church and we need a new one, answered Dad. It takes money and a lot of people willing to help build, he explained. It reminds me of Nehemiah rebuilding Jerusalem's walls. "I'm so glad to see you again," Nehemiah exclaimed, hugging his brother Hanani. Hanani had recently arrived with others from Judah. "How are you? How are the rest of the Jews surviving back in Jerusalem?" The smile left Hanani's face. "Not well," he said sadly. "The wall around Jerusalem has been torn down. The gates have all been burned. Enemies could walk right in and attack God's people." Nehemiah sank into a chair. Tears spilled down his cheeks. For the next few weeks, Nehemiah mourned. He fasted and he prayed. "Oh Lord," he pleaded, "listen to my prayer. I am going to ask the king for a great favor. Please put it into his heart to be kind to me." One evening, Nehemiah went to work as usual. He carried the king's drink to him at the dinner table. The king looked up. "Why do you look so sad tonight?" he asked. "Long live the king," Nehemiah exclaimed. "I am sad because the city where my ancestors are buried is in ruins." "How can I help you?" the king asked kindly. Nehemiah prayed a quick, silent prayer. Then he answered the king, "Please send me to Judah to rebuild the city where my ancestors are buried." Nehemiah took a big breath. He had more to ask. "O king, please give me a letter to the manager of your forest. Tell him to give me wood so I can build. I will rebuild the city gates and the walls and a house for myself." The king wrote the letter. Then he ordered army officers and soldiers on horseback to go with Nehemiah. They would protect him on the long, long journey to Jerusalem. Finally, Nehemiah reached Jerusalem. After staying there for 3 days, he rode his donkey around at night to look at the damage. He found that he couldn't even ride through some of the gates into the city. They were plugged with big rocks that had been part of the wall. Then Nehemiah spoke to the city leaders. He told them about the king and how God had helped him so far. "Let's rebuild the wall of Jerusalem," he exclaimed. So the people began the work, and they worked hard. But their enemies made plans to attack and kill the Jews. The Jews prayed and asked God to protect them. Then Nehemiah told them to get their swords, their spears, and their bows and arrows. They would guard the wall with one hand and work with the other. "Don't be afraid of the enemy. Remember the Lord," Nehemiah encouraged them. Many times the enemies tried to stop the rebuilding work. Nehemiah prayed constantly, and God gave him the wisdom to know what to do. The work continued, and the wall was finished in just 52 days. God blessed this project in many ways. He gave Nehemiah courage to ask the king for help. He gave the workers power to carry on their rebuilding. God truly led his people.
This podcast is read by Franita Buddy for Gracelink.net. Created and produced by Falvo Fowler. Post-produced by Faith Toe at Studio El Piso. The theme music is by Clayton Kinney. Animation and artwork by Giogo Godoy. The audio engineer was Karel Holness. For more information, please visit Gracelink.net.
Welcome to PowerPoints, the podcast lesson to make learning the Bible fun and easy to follow. This podcast is based on the GraceLink curriculum for the Junior Sabbath School Bible Study Guide from the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. You can read along at juniorpowerpoints.org. There, you can also download and subscribe to these podcasts under Resources or on iTunes. Lesson 4, Running from God. Have you ever stood next to a busy highway or a building site where there were lots of noisy machines? How easy was it to talk to someone? Did you need to shout or whisper? Elijah discovered God's power in both the powerful, loud events and the still, quiet whisper. After more than 3 years of drought, it rained. Queen Jezebel wasn't impressed. Elijah had killed all 450 of the prophets of Baal and started a spiritual renewal in Israel. The people had returned to Jehovah God. Jezebel refused to believe in Elijah's God. She boldly declared that Elijah must die. A messenger sent from Jezebel walked quickly, bringing news to the prophet. The servant said, "I have come from Queen Jezebel. She sends this message to you. May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 2. Elijah had faced hundreds of people on Mount Carmel, all of whom blamed him for the misery caused by the drought and famine. He had faced the prophets of Baal. Elijah had stood against the power of evil and drawn the people back to God. Yet when Elijah got this message from Jezebel, he forgot how God had taken care of him during the drought. He forgot about ravens bringing him food. He forgot about flour and oil lasting for 3 years. He forgot about the fire that fell from heaven, revealing God's power. Elijah seemed to forget about the power of God. Jezebel threatened him, and Elijah ran for his life. But God did not forget his servant. Finally, Elijah fell asleep on the hard ground. He wanted to die. A soft hand touched his shoulder. Elijah jumped awake, thinking one of Jezebel's servants had found him, but a kind face looked at him. God had sent an angel to his frightened servant. "Get up and eat," the angel said, pointing to a loaf of bread and a jar of water. Elijah ate the food and fell asleep again. A second time, the angel woke Elijah and told him to eat. Then Elijah traveled 40 days and more than 100 miles. Finally, at Mount Horeb in southern Palestine, Elijah stopped. Weary and discouraged, Elijah hid in a cave. God came to the entrance of the cave and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" God had sent him to Ahab with his message. God had fed him through the ravens at the brook Kerith. God had preserved his life with the widow's food at Zarephath. God had sent him to stand alone before the priests of Baal. God had given him the strength to run in front of Ahab's chariot. God had started a reformation in Israel through this man. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" echoed the words of the Lord in the prophet's heart. Elijah answered, "The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." God said to Elijah, "Go out and stand on the mountain on the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 10 and 11. Suddenly, a powerful wind tore the mountains and scattered the rocks. But God was not in the wind. Then an earthquake shook the ground, but God was not in the earthquake. Next, a fire swept across the mountain, but God was not in the fire. Last came a gentle whisper. Elijah recognized that God was present there. Covering his face with his cloak, the prophet hurried out of the cave. Suddenly, he realized that God doesn't always reveal himself in a powerful way. Sometimes he shows himself in small, quiet ways. Elijah needed only to trust God to take care of him. Elijah heard God asking again, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" The prophet replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." But Elijah was not the only one who had remained faithful to God. The Lord told him that there were 7,000 other followers of Jehovah who did not worship Baal. God spoke to him saying, "Go back the way you came." Verses 13 through 15. Though Elijah ran away, being overcome by the fear of death, God did not reject his faithful servant. The prophet still had a work to accomplish. Strengthened with power from God, Elijah once again accepted the call to restore the worship of the true God in Israel.
Some amazing details right here. I wrote some information down right here. And it is the first time in junior church that I have written so much on one Sabbath. Like how you sitting. First time in junior church that I have written so much one Sabbath. And I like what was done this morning, and the text you just said, think about these things here. Food. All those who like to think about food, say aye. And we learned a text this morning, a brand new one. I want to see if you could catch that text. It is brand new to me. I had another text to teach you about food, because food is important. Sister Cindy almost died because she ate the food. Almost killed her. If she had died, we wouldn't have had her this morning to tell us that story and to teach us about the digestive system. So we have to be careful with what we eat and what we drink. What we eat could literally kill us. I almost say kill us dead. But you can't kill somebody alive. Or can you? But you know in Trinidad, when you want to say something, you say, well, I'll kill you dead. Well, the food we eat could kill us quickly or slowly. So we have to be careful with what we eat. So Auntie Cindy gave us a text this morning. The text is, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen. I watch people and I say listen, and they do so. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. I see one fellow who was listening to me and watching me, because when I did so, he was the only man came in on time, so I'm trying it again. Listen to me. Listen to me. Go again. This time. But like this, I don't want people to listen to them. They say, if you want somebody to listen to you, you say listen. When your mommy wants you to listen to her, does she say, listen to me? Or does she say, alright, think about your mommy telling you to listen to me now. 1, 2, 3, go! Listen! That's your mommy saying it. What about if your daddy says it? Alright, suppose it's daddy now. 1, 2, 3, Daddy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How do you was a teacher? Let's go now. Let's go now. Teacher now. 1, 2, 3. Teacher. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next part of the text. Now you get text, so we listen. Right. Then the next part. Harry. Eat what is good. Eat what is good. Eat what is good. Eat what is good. Let's go. Eat what is good. Go again, say. Eat what is good. Again, say. Eat what is good. This side, say. Eat what is good. This no, say. Eat what is good. This no, say. Eat what is good. So here the two parts. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And I will tell you something about when to use this text. So you first have to learn it to be able to use it. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. 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 Let's go say. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. Again say. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. Don't scream it. Don't scream it. Don't scream it. When I point to your side, say 1, 2, 3, go. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. Now you gotta pay attention now. 1, 2, 3, go. Listen. Kind of slow. You gotta be right. You gotta be right and sharp. 1, 2, 3, go. Listen. There too, kind of there. Everybody gotta come in. 1, 2, 3, go. Listen. Listen to me. Eat what is good. 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 That's not all to the text. Then the nice part of the text. Yeah, hey, this part of the text, you know, my wife and I were looking in the Bible and we observed something. Long time. When the Lord told the children of Israel to have a feast, hey, used to be real food. Good food and plenty of food. One time they had a feast for 7 days. And it was so good. They said, why this thing so good for 7 days? Let's have another 7 days. All those who would like to have a feast like that, well, so here the next part of the text now. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself. 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 I want to see who could say the after and delight yourself. All those who think they could say the text after and delight yourself, say aye. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good.
And delight yourself. Very good. 1, 2, 3, go. I don't know everybody inside. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself.
You got it. He was on the button. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3. Listen.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself.
In good, in rich, food 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 in rich,
Food is rich. Food is rich. Food is rich.
Somebody say in rich food. You know which? You know which? It's not rich. Rich. Everybody say rich. Say rich, rich, rich. Not which. So here's the text. Listen. Okay, so here we're going to see the last time. And delight yourself in rich food. 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 And delight yourself in rich food.
And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. And delight yourself in rich food. Delight yourself in rich food. And 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 delight yourself in rich food.
Listen to me. Wait. Let me watch it while I capture writing the book again. Listen to me. Eat what is good and delight yourself in rich food. Let me see if you can see that now. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good and delight yourself in rich food.
Isaiah 55:2. Isaiah, who said it? How many times have you read? We know right now. Isaiah 55:2. Isaiah, now we changing it. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
Somebody didn't hear me say Isaiah 55 and verse 2. 1, 2, 3, go.
Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
Okay. So we're going from the top now. Listen. 1, 2, 3, go. Listen. Say Isaiah. Somebody say Isaiah. Listen. Somebody said. All right. There we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good and delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
fall out here. But I can't find the sharpest one yet because everybody's so sharp. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. Somebody said, I listen. I listen. Let's go. We're going from the top. Let me see all you ready. You looking like you're ready to go right. You 2, 4, no 3 in that row. You already ready. You look like you're ready. What can you see? 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
No, we want to say that text 3 times without stopping. As we finish, we're going next time, and as we finish next time. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
Brilliant children. Brilliant children. Now hear this. Brilliant children, hear this. I stood before some children one time. And I said there are some things that are not good to eat. And I started to list some of the things that are not good food. The text says, eat what is good and delight yourself in rich food. So I would say, don't eat snake. That's not good to eat. Alright. Somebody, I just said that, and somebody gone and seen all kind of things are waiting. And then I would say, don't eat lizards. And then I would say, don't eat rats. No, because in Trinidad and Tobago, as in other places, I know of a creature that people eat, and to me it is just a big lizard. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? Yes. I am happy to hear now that you know to say iguana. When I was little, we didn't say egg. We just used to say guana. Yeah, that's just a big. And also, in Trinidad and Tobago, I guess in other parts of the world too, they eat something that to me is just a big rat. What is that? So I will wait until your Miss Edward settles. I will wait until so I told my class there is also something that we should not eat. Swine. What am I talking about? I wish I had known this text that day, because the children that at lunchtime, the little fellow wasn't living far from the school. He used to go home for lunch. So he went home and he came back with a sandwich and came in my face over. And he held up the sandwich just like this. I could see him in my mind's eye now. He says, so you know what is this? I said, no. He said, this is pork. And he did so. In my face. I wish I had known this text. If I had known this text, what do you think I would have told him? Somebody said it. Somebody came in time there. Somebody came in time. Let me go again. That little fella now, he's my good friend up to now. He's a big man. And he's my good friend. And he came up in front of me with a sandwich. He said, so you know what is this? I said, no. He said, this is pork. I wish I had known this text. I would have told him,
listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
if I had only known this text, I would have told him. But I didn't know this text. So I have to thank Auntie Cindy for teaching me this text. Because another time, somebody invited my wife and me to a dinner. When we went, but you see food all over the place, here, and everywhere. And up front, I had told them that I am vegetarian. So they put a nice little table there, and he said, I'm vegetarian. But then there was another corner. And in that corner had something called man, had something called Warner, had something called lap, had something called monkey. And in that corner, and they said, wild meat, everybody going by the wild meat. I wish I had known this text. If I had known this text, I would have told them,
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
I'm now going to test to see all those people who are in secondary school and in primary school. When I point you, put your hand up. If you are in secondary school or primary school. Well, and if you are in preschool too. Preschool, primary school, secondary school, or home school. Right. Put your hand down. You are the one. When I point, stand up and say that, sit back down. Let me see the sharpest group. 1, 2, 3, go. Manners. Let's go to start because you have to stand up and say 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55
Let's go again. You gotta watch. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
the inside collapse twice. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2. Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food.
All right. So, hear what? This side, imagine this side set belongs to people. Oh, what? This side too. So this week, hear what is our mission this week. First of all, if anybody comes to you in school this week that with something that you know is not good for you, you know that this thing is not good for you, and he said, you see the candies, don't involve in those candies too much, they're not good. But some yes. And you know what? Because he said, alright, good. So next week, please the Lord, I see they have finished inside. So the mission this week is to say,
Listen to me. Eat what is good. And delight yourself in rich food. Isaiah 55 and verse 2.
let's see you clap that. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, let's see who will stand most quietly. This row.